Hello and welcome on 360 Sport on Trust TV. Adeniyi G. Shafet, and take you around the world of sports as we look at those stories trending. We start from Delta State. Delta State government right now, they signed MOU with the Federal Ministry of Youth and Sport Development to see how they will be hosting the National Youth Games for the next 4 years. Well, right now we've seen Delta State becoming the hub of sports in Nigeria. And right now I have this particular story alongside Emmanuel Fashemi. Good to have you.
Thanks for having me. It's a good one from the Delta State government to actually sign an MOU with the Federal Minister of Youth and Sports Development, led by Honorable Sunday Dari himself. And for Delta State, they have, if you look at it, for the past 20 years thereabouts, Delta State has actually been a top side when it comes to sports, and they have actually been helpful when it comes to sports development in Nigeria. And recently, the National Sports Festival went down in Delta State, as in Asaba Delta State. And if you look at the facilities, they are world-class facilities, top-notch. And for them to have actually signed this MOU with the federal government, it shows that the facilities are up to standard, and it's a good one that the youth games will be happening there. And sincerely speaking, it's no, I don't see any other place that is, except Edo State, that also have those facilities that can match that of Asaba. But I think the Asaba facility is brand new, good ones, and if you look at the facilities, you know it's world class. And for them, for Delta State, they have actually supported sports all along, so good one coming from them. And then for the federal government giving them this chance and this opportunity to actually
for the next 4 years
for
now.
The next 4 years.
So they will be the host of National Youth Games. But from the way it is right now, at least other states too need to take a cue from this by making sure they really go into sports. Aside grooming athletes, you need to provide facilities where athletes can easily compete. If Delta State didn't put those things there, there will be an opportunity for them to host for the next 4 years.
Yes, nobody would actually look at, let me say, look at them, or even though they submit a bid, nobody will actually give them that chance to actually host anything, even the smallest competition. And I don't think there are smaller competitions in Nigeria anymore, so they wouldn't have given them that chance. And because of that facility, and if you look at it critically well, Delta State, when it comes to sports, they are always there. If you look at for the past, let me bring it down to the 5 National Sports Festival, Delta State has always come first. Delta Edo, that is how it used to be before. Then you have Delta Edo Lagos, then Bayelsa now coming in. So, and if you look at this point in time, for them to actually get this right, they have actually put in the work. They've put in the work. They've done their own part of it. Now the federal government looked inward and they looked at the whole thing, the facilities, what they have done in sports. It's just, it's not a competition. They actually merit it, because it's a way of telling them, thank you for all you have done in sport. Host this event for us again and we'll be happy.
And it would be very lovely if you can see other states taking the cue, so that as you're hosting for the next 4 years, you can move to another place where they have facilities on ground, not just to move. You should not politicize it now, but if you have what it takes to host, you have necessary facilities where athletes can go for, in National Youth Games, National Sports Festival, we need to have a lot of facilities in place where athletes can compete, not just football pitch or Tata track. Aside that, so many sport that you need to have those things in place. Now, Ogun State will be hosting the National Sports Festival, right?
Yes,
I think they got the nod. So, from the way it is right now, other states need to take a cue from this and also develop facilities in their state. Make sure you have those things in place at the stadium or any sport facility, just for the athletes to have what it takes. We've seen athletes going out for events, and that's, in fact, their first time. There was a time I was interviewing one para powerlifter. He said, well, the first time he traveled out of Nigeria, when he saw what they were lifting, it was like, what? Can I do this? That alone actually affected him. It took time before he got at least used to those machines or whatever they call it.
Yeah, seriously, like you mentioned, if other states can actually take a cue from Delta State by providing these facilities, because if you look at those facilities in Delta State, as in they can host any international event. Before now, though, the National Sports Festival Youth Games was supposed to happen in Kano, and I know these are some of the things they look at that prompted, because at the end of the last one in Ilorin, Kano was announced to be the host of the next National Youth Games. But after looking at the whole inspection and whatever, it's not what they really want. So they have to just move it to Delta, and Delta State presented a golden opportunity, and federal government have no say about it because the facilities are there. Like you said, if these athletes are exposed to these world standard facilities in quote, then they should be able to do well whenever they compete with their mates outside.
Well, I've been talking concerning Delta State government having to sign an MOU, Memorandum of Understanding, with the Federal Ministry of Youth and Sport Development. And right now, they'll be hosting National Youth Games for the next 4 years. So at least give Nigeria the best when it comes to facilities on ground to host events. And at least Nigerian athletes will be happy. They've been to a Delta State. They've been able to use most of these facilities. They know how good and how new those facilities are. And it will help them to also showcase their talent. The youth games comes up, and at least all the youth athletes that will be coming to Delta will be ready to at least test most of these facilities. It was a National Sports Festival that took place there, but now Ogun State will be the next host for the NSF. But for the youth games in the next 4 years, be ready to go to Delta State, besides in Asaba, where that particular event will be coming up with Delta State government having an MOU with the Federal Ministry of Youth and Sport Development. While we move away from that story, let's quickly talk about the Nigerian team, the Flying Eagles, who are right now in Argentina, preparing ahead of the World Cup. But they were able to play friendly against Colombia, and it ended in a 6-goal thriller, draw, 3-3.
Well, we can say it's a friendly, but it's a good one to an extent. We were pegged back first, and it was an own goal through our own player, Emmanuel, I can't recall his second name now, got that own goal and gave Colombia the lead. After that, they got the second goal. Before the resumption of the second half, we were able to put one, and then they went ahead to make it 3-1, and then we're 3-2, 3-3. And if you look at it, this game is just to keep them in shape, to prepare themselves, because we'll be coming up against South American opposition in our group, that is Brazil. About 2 of them, Dominican Republic is there, Brazil is there, and then Italy is there. So it's just to get acclimatized with the way the South Americans plays. But we can say it's a friendly. How prepared is the Flying Eagles? Fine, we had a lot of preparations here before they jetted out of the country. But when the competition starts proper, because if it is what we saw at the Under-20 AFCON, it's the same thing they are going to play at the FIFA World Cup, then we are heading nowhere. We have the most successful team when it comes to Under-20 in our group, that is Brazil. How are we going to surmount the Brazilian hurdles, the Italian hurdles, and then the Dominic? We can say they are the, let me say in quote, the minnows in that group. But these days, you can be beaten by a very small team that you think of. So I believe Landamboso has actually learned his lesson during the AFCON. He has seen the lapses, because we struggled to score goals. I was even surprised that we were able to score 3, because this was a team that was struggling to score goals in the Under-20 AFCON. For them to be able to score 3, I think the goal scoring aspect is getting better.
Talking about it getting better, we also consider 3, even though Anongo added to it. But I look at, if you check the Under-17 AFCON, we really found one thing at the back.
Yes, of course.
And it was obvious that we were actually conceding more goals, even though we improved on scoring goals as the game actually progressed. I remember against Zambia, against Morocco, and then before we met South Africa, where we were able to score 3 goals. But really, it seems lately, if you check, formerly our under-8 teams always perform so well. In fact, they brought us so much joy internationally. But this time around, we are really getting down when it comes to football.
Well, I can say 2 things contributed to that of Golden Eaglets, because at some point where they were trying to get it right, about the first set of Golden Eaglets that they gathered in camp, when the internal MRI test was being carried out, so many of them failed that test. So they had to go back and regroup and get these particular players you saw. Because if it was for the first
when they invited them, they didn't know that they were
that is the question we asked at first. Because when you invited these players, you never, at least you should have carried out your own test findings to see if they are actually the right age. And after the coach have prepared a team, at least they've gone to far to an extent.
I think it has to do with the fact that the way we run things really is
negligence.
also wrong. Apart from negligence, the teams that presented them, right? The coaches that picked them from those teams already, they know that, okay, these players are older than 17.
And they didn't say
they won't say anything there because the agents also want their players to be picked. All these come into place to actually hold them up. But later, they picked the right age. But the main thing that happened was the fact that after picking the right age, the performance issue came in because technically we were down at that tournament.
Yeah, technically we were down because, like you mentioned, defensively we've not actually been getting it right.
And the same thing is happening to Flying Eagles right now.
The Flying Eagles right now. And I expect Landamboso, after you must have worked on the goal scoring issue, you should have also worked on the back line, because if let's assume now we are playing this competition proper and we concede 2 goals, it will be hard for you to come back. Now we came back, we drew 3-3. What if you play a team that is so good at the back, when they score you don't have that chance to penetrate? What will happen? That means you are out of the tournament. So I believe with this friendly, he should have been able to notice 1 or 2 things about the back line. I know what is called maybe a fire brigade approach. Now, just do something about the defense line so that you can at least, to an extent, we can have that defense line tight when the competition starts proper.
Well, from the way it is right now, Nigeria will be fighting hard over there at the World Cup. Dominican Republic is now a group alongside Brazil and Italy. And right now, the lads have actually started. They've won, rather, they drew against Colombia 3-3 in that 6-goal thriller in the friendly. Well, we hope for more as they continue to see how they will do for the quest at the World Cup. Away from football, let's quickly talk about basketball. Yes, the NBA, that's Western Conference Finals between Denver Nuggets and Los Angeles Lakers actually that started, where Los Angeles Lakers lost the first game 126-132. Nuggets lead series 1 in that particular encounter. Nikola Jokic, the one they call the Joker, he got 34 points, 21 rebound, 14 assists. He really did well, 2 blocks, and really showed the reason why he's called the Joker. Nikola Jokic making Los Angeles Lakers actually look for more. 126-132 in that particular encounter there. A big one, talking about the NBA. Really, you look at that game, you expect a lot of performance. But though the man of the moment, talking about LeBron James, he said, well, they were a bit down in the first stanza, but right now they will pick up by the time they make the second game. Well, for Denver Nuggets, they just have to continue to win if they really want to win this series. Although the battle they see on 6 games that they'll be fighting, except they make it 4-2. But right now they are leading the pack in the first game of that particular Western Conference. Congrats to Denver Nuggets for starting well right now. They need to hold on to it. Really is a marathon. Right now, let's still talking about this particular game. Moving to the scores of the players. You look at Nikola Jokic there. Nikola Jokic, I beg your pardon, 34 points, 21 rebounds, as I mentioned earlier. For Jai Murray, he also scores 31 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. And you can't take anything away from the buzzer, Anthony Davis, 40 points, 10 rebounds, 2 blocks, alongside King LeBron James, 26 points, 12 rebounds, and also making a contribution of 9 assists. Still, They lost that game 126-132 against Denver Nuggets there. Well, for right now, let's look at Nikola Jokic. In that particular game, he was able to make some record. Nikola Jokic joined with Chamberlain and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in NBA history as players with multiple playoff games of 30+ points and 20+ rebounds and 10+ assists. With Chamberlain did that in 1967, 37 points, 27 rebounds, 11 assists on 3rd of that's 22nd of March 1967, while Kareem Abdul-Jabbar did that on 13th of April 1970, 38 points, 23 rebounds, and 11 assists. Good one for those three players right now, having the NBA history as player with multiple playoff games of 30 points. Good one there, looking at that. Now, still talking about the NBA, let's look at the player with the most triple jump so far in the NBA. Nikola Jokic also making it right now, standing at number 3 there. Number 1 still remain Magic Johnson with the all-time leaders of NBA playoffs, triple doubles. He actually was able to do 30. LeBron James 28, Russell Westbrook 12. Nikola Jokic right now on par with Russell Westbrook there 12. You have Jason Kidd 11, Rajon Rondo and Draymond Green all lined up in that place. Larry Bird with Chamberlain and Oscar Robertson also making that particular call. Just to give you update concerning the NBA, what is happening there. Always very juicy when you look at that particular sport. Well, it's always very interesting when you look at these guys playing basketball. They make it so easy.
So easy. I think I was looking forward to a name out of the triple-double. That is Michael Jordan.
That's why you see, this is in the playoffs. You know? If you want to come to the old NBA performer, that's why, you know, they have a lot of record.
Yes.
You see now, someone is doing this job, a statistician, a mathematician, or whatever that knows how to keep record, is actually being employed to do all these records in place.
I think these are some of the things we should also learn to do, because these are, if nobody has put this record in place, we won't even have it right now. We will not as in have that privilege to that information. But sincerely speaking, the person has actually done a great job. And for Nikola Jokic, I think in this era, he's one of the best basketballer we can just have, the likes of himself, LeBron James, our own Antetokounmpo, no matter how they change his name.
Mentioned Joel Embiid.
Joel Embiid,
the
I think the Africans. So, and it's good that Africans are actually doing well in basketball in the United States. It's not the whites alone, and I'm proud that we also have Nigerians who are actually doing well there. We have, like I mentioned, Antetokounmpo, who is actually doing well.
Victor Obama, no matter
so
how they want
a lot of them, you cannot take Africans away when it comes to basketball in America, and that is kudos to us. We're actually doing well in that area.
Well, we're talking about the NBA there. Just to give you a wrap of the NBA game between Denver Nuggets and Los Angeles Lakers. Right now, let's cross back to football as we talk about UEFA Champions League. It was a good one for the Nerazzurris, Inter Milan. They were able to defeat AC Milan. Looking at that, Inter Milan reached first Champions League final in 13 years after beating AC Milan. The Rossoneri's, they didn't give a budge at all. They fought out, but they lost that game. Nerazzurri, Inter Milan defeating them 1-0, courtesy of Lautaro Martinez, making it to add one so the 2 in the first leg, making it 3-0 aggregate. What happened to the Rossoneri's?
Sincerely speaking, I'm not surprised about the result, because it's a derby game, and Inter Milan has dominated these derbies for so long, and this season alone they've met, I think these are the 5th time, and Inter Milan has won 4, just one draw in between the 2 of them. So, and if you look at it in total, Inter Milan has beaten AC Milan. That is, this is the 23rd time they will be beating AC Milan in all competition, with AC Milan just winning 16. And like I said, Inter Milan has dominated this derby for so long. Even at the worst form of Inter Milan, they will still beat AC Milan. So I'm not surprised because of how it went. Though it was better than the first leg. AC Milan got a couple of chances, Rafael coming into the side. And I was so disappointed in the first leg with Ibrahim Diaz. I expect him to come into the party. Rafael is not there, a man who actually who is one of them.
They really missed
in the first leg. And if you look at the second leg, Rafael did all
he could, but it didn't work out.
And Inter Milan was just just too good on
They
the
should be
night.
thanking Dumfries there. That player really held him down.
Yes, because I think they say, okay, you just do this job. Don't let this guy move an inch. And he was so fantastic in marking Rafaelio. Rafaelio was frustrated all night. Even some few chances he got, it was, I think immediately he loses that focus. He just pounced on that opportunity and it didn't pay off. And from there, I think Dumfries was actually the man of the match for me, because he actually did all the play, because he kept Rafaelio quiet. And if you look at it, I still believe at worst for me of Inter Milan, they will still beat AC Milan.
Maybe we can see that now, but really, I still remember when AC Milan really dominated the football of Italy there. In those 90s, it was AC Milan almost everywhere. Maldini was all this way.
Yes, Maldini, this guy from Argentina.
Even Gattuso, all of them.
They dominated it, but at some point, it's either Inter Milan or AC Milan, Inter Milan. That is how it has been. But for the past 5 decades, I think power has changed on a bit.
Did you say decade or 5 years?
5 years, sorry. For the past 5 years, power has changed on a bit. So congratulations to Inter Milan. The last time they graced the final was in 2010, and it was Mourinho who actually gave
13 years
ago, courtesy of Diego Milito go against Bayern.
Let me actually take you back. I hope history is not going to repeat itself. 33 years ago, Napoli, that was the last time they won Scudetto.
Yes.
Now they've won it. I just hope something is going to happen. I don't want Man City fans out there to be like, what are you saying? But really,
well, if you look at it, it's close.
Because a lot of people are saying if if Man City can at least escape Real Madrid, they will beat Inter. According to somebody's analysis, I was just laughing. I said, you don't do that in football.
This Inter that you are seeing right now under Inzaghi, they are just too good. They hit the form at the middle of the season, and they are up there. Everybody thought Napoli. I beg your pardon. Napoli was the one who was going to get to this stage, but they couldn't get here. And for Inter Milan, it's not like a team that is out of sorts, out of form. They play as a unit. And if you look at the back line, they are just too good. These 3 guys up front, Dzeko, Lautaro, Zeko, Lukaku, these 4 guys, Martinez up front, they can hurt you any day. And if one is not playing, the other one will pick up. And Mkhitaryan is just too good with those slicky passes. He knows how to bring in those passes, and you don't even know who to
Let's talk about our own African brother, Andre Onana, right now becoming the first goalkeeper from Cameroon to at least get to the final.
Yes, congratulations.
That's a record.
I think Africans have record when it comes to Inter Milan. The likes of Obafemi Martins, Kanu Nwankwo won the Champions League with Inter Milan. We have
Taribo West, all of them.
So I think Inter Milan is one of the teams that is so good for Africans. Our own Samuel Eto'o also did well with Inter Milan, won the Champions League under Mourinho there. So it's just, I think Africans should be going to Inter Milan.
Well, really, they've really showed interest in so many Africans. I remember Obi Nassau for playing for them. Joel Obi also was there. A lot of Nigerians are applying their trade with Inter Milan, but I think so far it has been Obafemi Martins who had much kind of
himself
fame.
And Papilo.
Although Kanu's issue because of his health, then he had to move to Arsenal, but it was a blessing in disguise because he was in Arsenal that actually became a king. We've been talking about UEFA Champions League, what happened between the Nerazzurris, Inter Milan versus AC Milan. A tough one, but really they were able to subdue the force coming from AC Milan, 3-0 aggregate, and now they qualify for the Champions League final, waiting for the winner between Manchester City and Real Madrid. Tonight would be a big night there. Let's just keep it. Now let's quickly look at 2 more stories before we wrap it up. PSG football advisor Luis Ocampo in talk with Harry Kane's representatives. He's trying to see how they can get Harry Kane to France. But today is Man United, tomorrow is Man City, next you have about PSG.
The problem with Harry Kane is that he should just look for a club that he will go to. I feel for him. I really feel for
wants a trophy.
At least he should go to a club where he is sure of getting the trophy, and that club should be PSG. If PSG are actually serious about getting him, should go to PSG. For Manchester United, it's hot and cold, but in PSG you are sure of winning. It's either you win the league or you win the France Cup. At most you get to the Champions League final again, and probably you can win it. But I think he should weigh his option before leaving. I want him to even leave Tottenham and go to a place You can't be telling your children, I played so many matches, these are my golden boots, but where is the medal to show for it?
But has he been the only one that didn't win medal? What was that?
But look at the standard.
What about players? What do you want Ronaldo to say? Ronaldo de Lima.
Well,
He didn't win. The only thing missing is in his whatever you want to say archive is the champion.
Yeah, but he has won the World Cup.
But he didn't win the Champions League. Messi won everything. So he wanted to go and kill himself.
Harry Kane, no World Cup, no Euro, nothing.
Come on, you guys should be merciful enough concerning Harry Kane. I think you want to nail him to the wall. But really, no, it's not a crime.
No, for his standard. Look at Lewandowski. They were all together.
No matter the standard of Harry Kane now compared to Ronaldo de Lima. You can't compare the two for the way he played football. He didn't win. He did everything he could, but he couldn't.
He didn't win the Champions League, but he has the World Cup medal.
What I'm saying, you look at the player of Ronaldo de Lima.
And
oh my goodness. And Harry Kane, in fact, the gap is too wide. So please, you guys should be merciful on Harry Kane. Fair enough to offer the manager of, that's the manager right now, fair enough to offer manager and slot new contract to fend off interest from Tottenham Hotspur. Hotspur really are looking for someone to take over and they want to go for him.
For Danny Levy, he has actually done worse than good.
I think from the way somebody actually said that, maybe Mourinho's goes.
Yes, he has done worse to Tottenham than good, because all managers coming to that place has not actually given them that free hand to work.
Operate.
You were at the verge of winning a trophy and you sack a coach. Okay, you let Mauricio Pochettino to go, and you are at the same time you have not been able to bring in somebody who will bring back Tottenham to that. Now they are struggling. For the past, since Mourinho left, they have been struggling. So for this young man, I think he should remain in Feyenoord.
He should remain in Feyenoord.
He should remain there. And never.
But really, he has done well. I still remember, maybe they'll bring him to England to come and join Erik ten Hag. That would be another Dutch
If he comes to join Erik ten Hag, good one.
In Man United?
Yes.
I can see where you are going. That's a good one there. We've been talking sports on the show, 360 Sports. Tonight is going to be a great night. Madrid fans, they call them Hala Madrid, against the citizens of Manchester City, who are really hoping that they can do this. Who will win this battle? Join us in our subsequent edition on the show, Sport of the Den. That will be coming concerning that. Well, I've been with Emmanuel Fashimi. Thanks so much.
Thanks for having me.
I'm Adeni Ajishafela. Like we say, sport is always business and fitness. Thanks for watching.